Hello friends, hope you are doing good. Welcome to this AWS video series, and this video topic is S3 access control. We will talk about AWS IAM policies, S3 bucket policies and S3 ACL type of access control which we can use to control S3 access. And also we will do a quick demo using S3 ACL and bucket policies, how we can control access to S3 using ACL and bucket policies. So when we create new S3 bucket and upload our object and we want to control who can access our bucket and object. So if you have different teams, let's say in your company, group A and group B users, and also we want to make your bucket object publicly accessible, and how we can control this access, then AWS provides a different access control to control S3 access. Like AWS IAM policies can be used to control S3 access, S3 bucket policies can be used, and also S3 ACL. So we start with AWS IAM policies, and one of the common use case with S3 access. I hope you have watched our AWS IAM video on our channel. If not, I would recommend you to watch that video to get the basic understanding of AWS IAM. So AWS IAM is basically a JSON based document which is attached to user group and roles, and also provides a policy element that who can access and which user application can access AWS resources. And for S3 access, AWS IAM policies can be used when you want to centrally manage the S3 policies. Let's say you have different buckets and different users accessing from different department accessing S3 bucket and objects, and you want to create only single policy or few policies which you want to control centrally from one management console, only one or two policies to controlling the access to S3, then we can use AWS IAM policies. Okay, next is S3 bucket policies. S3 bucket policies are resource-based policies. So as the name is, resource-based policies are attached to resource, which is S3 in our case. So S3 bucket policies we need to attach to S3 service. S3 bucket policy is also a JSON based document, and when to use with S3 access is like one of the common use case when you have two account 1 and account 2. Your bucket is in account 2 and you want to have user from account 1 accessing the bucket in account 2. So that is one of the common use case when you want to use your bucket policy, and also when you're making your bucket publicly available, then we can use bucket policies. And next we have S3 ACL. S3 ACL is a legacy access control which define which access or what type of access for which group or account access is granted. So in bucket level ACL, we also have further in S3 ACL we have further subtypes like bucket level ACL and object level ACL. We can define, okay, on the bucket level who can access our bucket, and also further in object level who can access our object using S3 ACL. So we will do a demo also for the bucket policy and ACL, so then you will understand the difference between these type of policies to control access to your S3 bucket. Okay, this slide I have put just to go through the flow when user is making access to your bucket or object. User or can be any application also making any API access to your bucket also. So in our case, we start with in the left hand side we have one user who is trying to access the bucket in this bucket objects. So when the user will try to access, and then I have this bucket created in my AWS account. So my AWS account, if I have any IAM user and role for this user, then this user will be checked against IAM policy. So let's say this user is present here in IAM user, and then you have a policy attached, then this user will be checked against the IAM policy, and based on the IAM policy decision whether access is allowed or denied, the access will be allowed to bucket. Now it will reach to the bucket level. If you have any bucket policy or bucket ACL, then again further access will be checked whether access is allowed or denied. So one thing to note that if you have allow here and deny here, then access will be denied. So the final decision is come from deny. If you have allow or deny and both deny, then access will be denied. But however, for access to work, either you have allow here or no policy attached here, then access will be allowed. If you have policy here which allow and deny here, then access will be denied. So just for your understanding, you must have a allow policy. So basically, if your user is in IAM user, you don't have to create your bucket policy. So you just create IAM policy and then access will be granted to S3 bucket. Okay, let's talk about other scenario when the user is not in your IAM. So then user will go no straight away go to your S3 bucket. Now, in order to control access for the user which are not in my IAM, then we can use S3 bucket policy and object level policy. So based on the access decision of bucket policy and S3 ACL, access will be either allowed or denied. So this is the flow. So this is the flow. Just wanted to discuss that with you, that okay, what is the flow in order to access the S3 bucket. We will see this flow for bucket policy and ACL when we do the demo. So this is one of the sample policy. We have a version, we have a statement, and statement is the description. We can add anything. Effect is allow or deny. Principal. Okay, one thing to note that we must include principal in bucket policy, because principal is someone who's making the access request. Let's say any user, role, or any application is trying to access, then next is action. Action is like in S3, whether S3 read only access, S3 read write access, or what type of access we are giving. And the resource is whether I'm giving access to the full bucket or any bucket objects also. So I can give access to further bucket objects also. So this is the sample bucket policy, okay, which we will use in today's demo also. Similar policy for bucket level access. Okay, so I am logged into my root account. Okay, now let's start the demo. I will start with S3 ACL. So for S3 ACL, our use case is to make our bucket object publicly available from internet. Okay, so I have uploaded one file here, which is ec2.txt. Okay, one thing I want to show you is this option. Okay, let me first make it to default. Actually, I had unchecked this. This option is on bucket level. This permission is actually blocking me in order to make any object or bucket public. So I have now changed it to default, okay, which is default deny. So now what I will do, I will go to the object. So my use case is to make this object publicly available. Okay, so in order to do that, I will go inside the object. So one thing to note that in S3 ACL, if you are doing the specific object making it public, then you go inside that object and make it public. So I'm inside this object and I will go to this option permission. So you see under this ACL, under permission, you have root account. By default, this account is provided access with the read and write full access, and also we can access for different AWS account. However, our use case today is to make this object public. So I will make it public. I will apply read only access and I will save it. Okay, so see, block access is prohibiting me making this object public. So basically, if you go to bucket and go to permission and this block public access, this option is recently introduced by AWS, is restricting access for you to make your object public. So because somebody can make your object public in accidentally also. So in order to avoid that, AWS has introduced this option. So first you have to make sure that you're allowing your object public. So in order to do that, you check this option, you uncheck this option. So under this option you have further 4 options: block public access to with new ACL, any ACL, or new bucket policy, or any bucket policy. So you have to uncheck this option before making your object public. So I will confirm this, and now my object, so the block public access, I have made this. So now I should be able to make this bucket. Okay, everyone, yes. So since we checked this option already, so we already have enabled it. So now this bucket object should be accessible from internet. So I will copy this URL. Okay, so this file is now accessible from internet. So in this video, I wanted to show you S3 ACL. Okay, next part of this video, we will go through the bucket policy. to grant the access in the cross account. So we have account 1 accessing the bucket in account 2. So we will go through the use case and then we will do a quick demo of the bucket policy. I hope you like this video, and I look forward to see you next video when we do the demo for the bucket policies.